Alright, someone seems to be upset in the world chat. Alright, that's actually very interesting. Anyways, today I'm going to be talking about the Neon Ninja and the small change that the Neon Ninja actually did get. And that is going to be that the Neon Ninja got a pretty small change in the Death Stepper update that turned out to be a really big update for the Neon Ninja. Today I'm going to be talking about all of that in this video. And yeah, this is going to be another edition of John's wants to grind out, so he's just going to talk over a specific topic. Yeah, so let's get started. Hello and welcome to another JMP video. I'm your host JonNario, and today I'm going to be talking about the Neon Ninja change that got back in the Death Stepper update. This small change actually is, like I just mentioned, it turns out to be more of an actual big update. So for those who have not played back ever since the Death Stepper update, have not used the Neon Ninja, just give it another try, because this change might actually just make you want to use the Neon Ninja a little bit more. And I'm going to be explaining, my opinions on the topic, and also does this make the Neon Ninja better all around, or better as a beginner class, better as an endgame class, and all that good stuff. So first of all, let me just start talking about what is the change. So similar to one change that comes to mind, that is going to be the change that got the Dino Tamer. It is going to be just one small change that turned out to be a really big playstyle change for the character. So the change that it got is whenever you press the Shadow Flip, you're going to get one shuriken charge, and it does work every single time that you do a Shadow Flip. Doing the Shadow Flip will reset the 10-second timer that you have to throw down your shuriken charges. So normally you can just have your shuriken charges on your character for 10 seconds. After 10 seconds, they're going to completely disappear. But if you do press Shadow Flip, it's going to reset the 10-second timer, allowing you to just essentially maintain the shuriken charges all the time if you just keep pressing Shadow Flip. And once again, like I just mentioned, this is a similar update that they did to something like the Dino Tamer, which was just one change that turned out to be extremely good. So yeah, the Dino Tamer, what it got, it was that you could just get movement speed on your character if you're in your ultimate ability. So yeah, that was the only change that the Dino Tamer actually did get. The character never actually did get a rework, and you can probably tell that how much it did change on the character. It became an extremely popular dungeon grinding character after that change. So in the case of the Neon Ninja, I do feel that this is, I wouldn't say just as impactful, but it is equally as big as that change right there from the Dino Tamer. So here's a couple of applications that can be used on that. Number one, like I just mentioned once again, it can just reset your shuriken charges. What it means is, so before it was a 10-second so you can throw down your shurikens. Now you can just easily just keep maintaining shuriken charges if you just keep using Shadow Flip. Neon Ninja is all about using Shadow Flip anyway, so maintaining all of this is just incredibly good. So that makes the shuriken charges just much more consistent per dungeon, because you can easily just go ahead and go into a dungeon with full max shuriken charges without even needing to actually hit an enemy with your basic attack once. So that is going to be extremely good on that regard. The other thing that is going to be really good is, like, again, it is going to be really good in getting from dungeon to dungeon, because all you gotta do is just keep using Shadow Flip, and by the time that you get to the dungeon, you should already have your shuriken charges. And like you just saw right there, if the dungeon has a boss as an objective, you can easily just go ahead and just throw down the shuriken from really far away, one-shot the enemy, essentially guaranteed, because that ability just does ridiculous amounts of damage for some reason. Thank you, lag, by the way, for that one. I've been just having horrible internet problems, just letting you know out there. That's one of the reasons I haven't done any streams. That, and I haven't played a whole lot on Trove. Anyways, so yes, it is going to be that regard, so you can easily just have full shuriken charges by the time that you go into a dungeon, making the character a lot more consistent and making all of those problems that I used to have before with the Neon Ninja. And that was when you actually got yourself into the dungeon and your shuriken charges immediately disappeared. That happened to me so many times before, it was ridiculous. Now this is just consistent. Every single time that you get yourself into a dungeon, it is consistent. You can easily just press down that. Number two is going to be momentum building. Neon Ninja, before it had terrible momentum building. The momentum of the character was relying on you either one-shotting with this attack, which is just Stasis Blade, which was only, you can only do that as a maxed out character, so not everyone could do that consistently. And that was about it. That was the only way that you could just maintain momentum on the character. And like I just mentioned multiple times in all of my speed farming videos, momentum is just extremely important for any character, because this game is half of their movement speed is going to be movement speed buff, and most of the movement speed buff is based on you hitting or killing an enemy. As you can tell right here, this is movement speed buff, and this is just momentum building. This is stuff that you can just do in order to actually just get yourself movement speed. And if you can just do stuff like this and just maintain high movement speed on your character, it means that you can just, you know, do stuff like this. And yeah, that's essentially how the Neon Ninja works out right now. It's much more consistent in getting from dungeon to dungeon, that you don't have to worry about your shuriken just actually disappearing, and you can just throw down your shurikens every single time that you can. And you don't even need to actually hit an enemy with basic attack, because all you gotta do is just keep using Shadow Flip, and by the time that you get into a dungeon, you have full shuriken charges. So here's going to be a couple little important things that you can just do with the Neon Ninja. So like I just mentioned, the momentum building is going to be incredibly good. Not only that, consistency in dungeon is going to be that much better, because you don't have to use your basic attack essentially for anything. Your basic attack is just going to be mainly for stuff like curse skulls and such, but for, you know, for bossing and getting yourself and killing world bosses in general, and doing dungeons in general, it's just that much better. So that's the things that you can do with just being able to maintain shuriken charges. And like I just mentioned, momentum building. This is just incredibly powerful, because all you gotta do is just do 3 shadow flips, and by the time that you get yourself into an enemy, just throw down the shuriken and you have all full movement speed buff, which is just incredibly powerful. Before, you actually had to get close to the enemy or something like this, and just get close to the enemy, hit it with basic so you can maintain movement buff. Now you can easily just backflip shuriken and that's it, and just have 3 shuriken charges, and by the time that you see another enemy, you can just do stuff like that. Even 2 shuriken charges is more than enough to actually kill regular enemies, because all you gotta do is like hit for what, 16.5 million HP, so you can actually just kill an enemy, so you don't even need high stats to keep this momentum going with this character. So anyways, so yeah, that's essentially what is going on with the Neon Ninja. That's all of the application that it can be used on the Neon Ninja if you actually apply all of them, you know, into your dungeon grinding. That this makes the Neon Ninja that much better in dungeon grinding. It's now undoubtedly the best character for dungeon grinding in the entire game, for the reasons that I just mentioned. So you can easily just maintain full shuriken charges. I missed that bump completely. That's terrible. So yeah, maintaining movement speed buff is much easier with the Neon Ninja, and the weakness on the character, which was momentum building for endgame grinding, is no longer an issue, because obviously the momentum is not going to be that terrible with the character anymore. So you can actually just maintain the movement speed buff on the character rather easily, rather consistently, and you can easily just scale out some of the stuff like world bosses or dungeon bosses, if you know that can just easily get in and get out with that. And like I just mentioned, once again, you are not losing any shuriken charges ever, because you're constantly refreshing your timer, and just refreshing their timer is extremely important, because before that was an issue with the character. You could have easily just gotten yourself into a dungeon and your shuriken charges will just disappear, and then you have to all the way just have to go 1, 2, 3 backflip shuriken. And that was like the horrible thing with the Neon Ninja back then, and that was essentially why some people didn't actually like the Neon Ninja, because it felt that you had to do so much in order to actually just gain the high shuriken charges. But right now, this actually does help out in survivability, especially against bosses, because you don't need to use your basic attack to get shuriken to throw down the shuriken charges, because all you gotta do is just have max for full shuriken charges, and by the time that you get yourself into a dungeon, all you gotta do is just press a button and everything will die. So yeah, that's essentially what is going to be the Neon Ninja. You see a world boss, you don't have to do a regular, oh, that's a, bruh. I got 96.4% crit hit and I didn't crit, okay. But yeah, like I just mentioned once again, you don't even need to get close to the actual enemy to actually one-shot like you used to before actually hitting an enemy with basic, which is just incredibly powerful, not only for momentum building but also for survivability. Does this make the character really good in survivability? Not really, because stuff like Curse Call is still a problem. With this character, it still doesn't have anything just good for Curse Calls, and not only that, like you just saw right there, if you don't crit, then that's still an issue with the character. All the problems are still remain the same. It relies very heavily on you one-shotting, and it still relies on you having high critical hit on the Neon Ninja. This does not make all of the other weaknesses much better on the character, which is a thing that I need to say. This change alone does not make the Neon Ninja the best all-around dungeon grinding character in the game. That's simply not how it works out. Does it make it the best end game? Yes. Overall, no, because there's other characters that will do essentially everything that the Neon Ninja can do, but much more consistently. For example, Bard, Dino Tamer, Knight, Vanguardian, Revenant. All of those characters can easily just maintain movement speed buff rather easily and just go to 180 to 200 plus movement speed and just kill enemies one shot consistently. Yeah, the Neon Ninja will still be faster, but if you are moving fast and not killing fast, then what's the point? So yeah, again, this goes back the same with the new player's perspective. It still has the same problem for a new player, so I still don't think that this is still a good early game character or a good new player character. It's going to be better for farming all of the lower portals. So if you're a low PR person or someone that just loves to do like Uber 8 or stuff like that with the Neon Ninja at around 30,000 power rank and not necessarily one-shotting consistently in Uber 10, the Neon Ninja that can one-shot this is going to be the excellent change. For everyone else, not so much. It does help out and also in bossing because you don't even need to get close to the actual enemy for Leviathans or Del bosses, so you don't even need to just get next to the enemy 1, 2, 3 baffle shuriken. You can just keep spamming Shadow Flay and throw down shuriken and help out in snaring the boss. And consider that the shuriken charge or the shuriken in general has like 49 block range, it's actually really good. But yeah, that's essentially going to be everything that I wanted to talk about with this change on the Neon Ninja. This is something that actually did flew down under the radar for me specifically. And yeah, I'm just going to say that this change, if you have not used the Neon Ninja, give it another whirl, give it another shot. And I didn't crit once again. Got them at 96.4% critical hit. But yeah, essentially the Neon Ninja is just an all-around much better character for dungeon grinding if you can one-shot. If you cannot, then still give it a try, but I don't think it's just going to make it that much better. But yeah, anyways, thank you for watching, thank you for subscribing as always. Leave a like, subscribe for more content like this. We're on a road to 4K subscribers, so we recently reached 3.5K. Let's see if we can get to 4K subs. With all that being said, once again, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Take care and keep on hunting. Yeah.